What up, guys? This is Cheevo Guides back here again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about getting the full 1000 gamer score in Forza Street. Now in 2018, a game called Miami Street released on Windows 10 with achievements, and it was a free-to-play street racing game. And in April of 2019, the game got rebranded as Forza Street. The game has changed a lot over time. Initially, it was still a grindy 1000G, but not as hard as when it rebranded to Forza Street. That's when it was really the hardest to get the full 1000 gamer score, and then they ended up announcing the closure of the game and its servers. The game's basically going to be going down on April 11th, and ever since they made that announcement, the game has been a little bit easier to play. Still really grindy, will probably take you 80 plus hours or so to beat it, but at one point in time it took over 200 hours to complete this game. Personally, if you check my stats for the game, it says I played the game for about 110 hours. This of course is since 2018 when it came out. I initially played it when it was Miami Street, but the cool thing is that when it rebranded as Forza Street, it also released on mobile. So now you're able to play the game from your Android or iPhone and basically get the achievements on the go, which of course made the game a lot easier to grind because you got a lot of awards for simply logging in and playing the game every day. So it was a cool game to, just pick up and play for a few minutes every day, and eventually, you got some achievements. And on top of that, the game was free. I do gotta mention, initially there were some microtransactions to make the completion a little bit easier, but once they announced a server closure, they stopped accepting payments for these microtransactions. So there's no way to basically pay for the achievements before the closure. You would have to actually grind them out, and if you haven't started yet, it's probably too late. Even with there being 7 days left, I really don't think you could get the 1000G if you're barely starting now. However, if you made your way through the game and maybe you're at least halfway through the game, you might be able to get it done, but you'd have to do a lot of grinding, and you'd have to make sure you're logging in at least 3 or 4 times a day so that you can participate in the auto races. Basically, after the last update, you can go ahead and schedule some of your vehicles to participate in races, and these are auto races, and you're basically able to do this about every 4 hours or so, and you get a lot of rewards doing it. I'll explain that later in the video. Maybe a few of you guys have played the game and you want to wrap it up in the next 7 days, so I'm going to do my best to give you guys some tips and tricks in this video, just in case you have a few achievements left. But just know that this game's going to be closing down on April 11th, so if you haven't started it yet, or you prioritize your completion percentage, you may not want to start this game because you might not be able to finish it. It is a huge grind. And on top of that, the achievements got a little bit harder when they announced the server closure, because before you only had to complete the episodes and now you have to dominate them. And in the game, dominating means you have to complete every single path in an episode to dominate it. So it requires you to play a lot more races and have a lot more cars upgraded, versus before you just had to make your way through one path. So there was kind of some plus sides and downsides to the update. Of course, it made it easier. It gave us a lot more rewards, parts, coins, credits, things like that. Even made it a lot easier to recharge your batteries, but also the achievement got harder because we have to dominate everything. So anyway, I just wanted to talk to you guys about my completion. I'm going to go ahead and go over a few things in regards to how I played this game. And aside from that, after April 11th, this game is just going to be history. Now, this race that you just see me complete was actually the last race I needed to complete. And then at this point, I had dominated episode 3, unlocking the final achievement called The Question, giving me the full 1000G out of the full 1000G. I did this in the combination of playing on mobile and PC, but I went ahead and unlocked it while I was on the PC so I could record it for you guys. I also want to mention a few other achievements. We'll go over those in a few, but real quick, these are the cars that I went ahead and beat the game with. A little further in the video, I'm going to dive into detail on the cars, what type of cars you'll need to complete the game, and things like that. But first, let's go over the achievements. So the first achievement is just for logging into the game on a separate day, then for obtaining your first 2-star car, reaching collection level 5, obtaining your first 3-star car, collecting 15 cars, dominating an event for the first time. Again, to dominate an event, you need to play through every single pathway in that event to be able to dominate it, not just one path. Next, we have achievements related to level progression. We get an achievement after beating episode 1, episode 2, and then finally episode 3. The achievement for episode 3 was the final achievement that I ended up getting. It's worth 150 gamer score. We also had achievements for driving a total of 500 miles. I'd say you're sure to get that one naturally if you're trying to complete the game and get the achievement for beating episode 3. Just know that when you're auto racing, that does not count towards your drive total. Next, we have an achievement related to reaching collection level 20. This is another one that should come naturally, at least if you're trying to complete the game. Personally, I was at collection level 25 when I beat the game, which is 5 levels past what you need for that achievement. Next, I want to take a minute to talk about the committed achievement, because at first this one was glitched for me. I really thought it was unobtainable for a minute, and I didn't think I was going to be able to unlock it. This achievement is for logging into the game 7 consecutive days. Now, if you want to get this achievement, you better start now, because there's only 7 days left. Now, I found that this achievement does not unlock if you're playing on mobile. However, if you play on the computer and you play 7 days in a row, it does unlock. This is how I got it to unlock. And this is what really got me to switch to playing on the PC. I found the game just had better graphics and was a little bit easier to play on the computer. So if it's not working for you on mobile, the way that you unlock this achievement is by playing 7 days in a row on PC. And then finally, my last achievement again was for beating episode 3. Now, let's talk about the story and how long it takes to progress through it, because at first it doesn't seem like it has a long story mode. There's only 3 episodes. However, when you realize how many races are in each episode, the game's actually very long. So as you can see, it says episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and beneath it, you can see how much you have progressed through each of those episodes. As you can see, I'm 84% episode 1, 53% on episode 2, and 100% on episode 3. Now, when I first started playing this game, the achievements didn't require you to dominate every single episode. That's how I was able to get the achievements for episode 1 and 2 without getting it to 100%. But after the last update, they require you to dominate the episode, so I did have to get 100% on episode 3. So each episode has 4 parts, and each part has 6 events. And each event probably has 10 to 20 races you need to complete an effort to dominate it. So this game is very long. You're going to have to complete each part of each episode, and not only that, but each part again has different events inside of it, specifically 6 events each. And each of these, as you can see, has a ton of different races and a ton of different paths that you can take to complete these events. Usually there's about 3 different paths that you can take in effort to complete an event. And with that latest update, the achievements require you to dominate each event. So you would have to play through each of these individual paths, requiring you to play each event probably at least 3 times. That is if you want to get it to 100% completion, aka domination. So that's how far I proceeded through the story in effort to get my full 1000G. If you're wondering if you have to get the full domination on episode 3 to unlock the achievement, the answer is yes. At first, I went ahead and just completed it. I was hoping to unlock the achievement because, again, that's how I unlocked my achievements for episode 1 and 2. I was hoping this was some sort of myth in terms of, having to dominate the episode, but I'm sad to tell you, it is not a myth. You do have to dominate the episode in effort to get the achievement, so you will need to get it to 100%. At first, though, I was a little worried that I was going to have to go back to episode 1 and 2 and basically get 100% on those as well. However, I got a little lucky, and I can confirm that is not the case. If you got those achievements previously, you do not need to go back and dominate those events. You only need to dominate the event that you're trying to get the achievement for. So, more than likely, that's episode 3. Next, I want to talk about upgrading cars and which cars you're going to need to get the full 1000G, or at least dominate episode 3. Now, you're basically going to need a 600 rated car of each type, so a green, red, blue, and yellow car, all rated 600. Specifically, you want them to be classic, so a classic green, classic blue, classic yellow, and classic red car, all rated at 600. That is the bare minimum to complete the game. Just know that your vehicle will need to be a 4-star vehicle to be upgraded this high. If it's a 3-star, it's going to max out between about 570 and 580. For instance, at first I was trying to use this Mustang, but it's a 3-star and it maxed out at 575. Now, there are ways to get from a 3-star to a 4-star, just like you got a lot of your vehicles from a 2-star to a 3-star. To do this, you need to get duplicate vehicles. So when you get a new vehicle card and you're randomly drawing a new vehicle, you want to hope for a duplicate of the one you're trying to upgrade. If I were to have gotten multiple Mustangs, eventually it would have upgraded to a 4-star, which would have allowed me to upgrade it further past 575. For instance, I got lucky with my Bel Air. My green Bel Air right here was maxed out at 570 when it was a 3-star, but I ended up pulling a couple Bel Airs over time, and as I got duplicates, eventually it upgraded to a 4-star vehicle. At that point, I was able to upgrade it even further, all the way to 600. So that's a really important tidbit right there. You want to know that you want to focus on your 4-star vehicles because those can be upgraded further than the 3 stars. However, if you want to dominate episode 3, you're also going to need a fairly good modern version of each of the colors as well. So you need a modern red, a modern blue, modern yellow, and modern green. I'd say at least ranked about 570 to 580. Because there's a few events in the last episode that have a random path where you'll need an upgraded modern version of each color. Now, I would say for the modern versions, you don't need to upgrade them all the way to 600 because as of the last update, you can use credits to go ahead and give yourself a boost before a race, and if you can get it ranked to about 560 to 570, then you can go ahead and pay for both boosts, and it's going to give you an extra 20 plus on your stats, taking you from 570 to 590. And I'd say at least if you're within 20 stat points of your opponent, you have a good chance of being able to win that race. It gets real sketchy once they're like 20 to 30 points better than you, so you want to try to keep them within like a 20-point range in effort to defeat them. So right here, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I would have to spend some credits for each of these upgrades. It would only last for this race, but it's well worth it because I don't have to go ahead and spend days upgrading this yellow or green modern vehicle all the way to 600. I'm just going to upgrade them to about 560, 570, and then we can do the 20 plus upgrade, bringing us within 20 points of our opponent. It won't exactly be an easy race, but it's definitely possible. It's a lot better than grinding through and upgrading those modern vehicles all the way to 600. But I'd say for the classic versions, you definitely want to have a 600 rated version of each color in a classic form. So that's what you will need to dominate episode 3. You're going to need a 600 rated classic vehicle for each of the colors, and then you're going to need a modern version of each of the colors, probably about 560 to 570, and you will need to have enough credits to be able to purchase those 2 boosts for that race. It's only one race for each of the modern vehicles, so literally you're only upgrading the modern vehicles just for one race. I don't know if they did it to mess with us or what, but they literally just put one random race where you're going to need this one vehicle. So that's why I say it's not worth, upgrading it all the way. We just need to beat the one race. So get it to 560, 570, and then pay the credits for the 2 upgrades, and that will give you a 20 plus stat boost before the race. Now, what if you're running out of coins or running out of credits? Well, I found that going back to previous events and dominating them will give you a lot of coins and a lot of credits. Not only that, but there's some auto races that you can sign up for every 4 hours that are going to give you a lot of rewards as well. And anytime that you draw a car and you get a duplicate, you end up getting credits, upgrades for your car, and also some of the colored cards, which basically count towards you getting extra vehicles of each of the colors. And that just leads to getting more duplicates and more extras. So the more cars that you could pull, the better. Anytime you get a duplicate, that's good because you get extra parts to upgrade your vehicles. So if you're running out of credits or running out of money, hopefully you haven't dominated previous episodes and you can go back and grind a little bit and rack up some credits and coins. Once you have some coins, you can use those coins to purchase wrenches, but most importantly, purchase credits. And then you're going to use the credits to upgrade your vehicle, but also maybe potentially give you a boost before a race. Now, if you're currently trying to get the last few achievements in this game, the number one thing I recommend doing is going to this tab right here and keeping up with the auto races. You want to make sure about every 4 hours or so that you're scheduling your vehicles in these auto races because they are giving a lot of rewards for these races right now. And basically, you can get into each race 4 times. You could take the prizes for first place, second place, third place, and then even a participation award for 4th place. So just make sure that you're keeping up with this, and every few hours you're going into here and throwing your cars into different events because, again, basically you're getting free stuff every few hours. And if you're trying to get the full 1000G before April 11th, this is crucial because you want to make sure you get as much upgrades as you can, as many car parts, as many credits, things like that. And basically all of these are rewards in the auto races. So number one tip if you're trying to get the 1000G before April 11th is make sure you're taking advantage of those auto races. Aside from that, you just want to make sure that you're going over and redeeming each of your rewards. So make sure that you're claiming all your vehicles. I'm sure you may know by now these vehicles are randomly chosen. Hopefully you get duplicates, because if you get duplicates, not only does it help upgrade that vehicle from maybe a 3-star to a 4-star, but also when you get a duplicate, it gives you stuff rather than getting the car because you already have the car. So maybe it'll give you some credits or some stuff to upgrade your vehicle, things like that. And trust me, once you get far into the game and you own most of these cars, basically the cars aren't even cars at that point. They're just, credits and car parts and things like that, which really help you upgrade all of your cars at the end of the game. So just make sure that you're going in here and redeeming all of your car cards, because if you don't, you're leaving a lot on the table. You don't want to ignore these things. You may think, oh, I already have the cars and I'm not really pulling cars that I don't have, but don't think like that, because if you pull the duplicates, it's really helping you out. It's giving you extra stuff to upgrade all your other vehicles. So just make sure that you're going in here and redeeming all of your stuff. And aside from that, you're going to use these different rewards to upgrade your vehicle and to hopefully end up dominating the final episode. So I'm not going to claim all these cars right here, but that's how those two tabs work. The rivals, I really never touched any rival races. Resources, this is where you can claim some of your resources, but also where you can buy some credits. Just note that to buy the credits, you need coins, and they do not let you buy coins anymore. Coins used to be able to be purchasable via actual money, but now you just get coins like via dominating previous events and things like that. So if you need coins, go back and play previous events and make sure that you dominate them, and it gives you a little bit of coin at the end of each event you dominate. Not only that, but they're giving away a lot of coins in the calendar for the daily login right now. So just make sure that you log in daily and that you claim your prize. Aside from that, guys, that's going to cover pretty much everything that you guys need to know in terms of trying to get this full 1000G before April 11th. Again, if you haven't started it yet, I really don't recommend it unless you don't care about your completion percentage. Maybe you just want it on your gamer tag to say you've played it before. You can go ahead and, try to get all the achievements you can before they go ahead and shut it down. But I'd say if you finished episode 2 and you only have episode 3 left, I'd say 7 days is enough time for you to be able to do so. Just go back to previous events. Go ahead and dominate those, not necessarily for the achievement, but just to rack up some credits and some coins. That way you don't have to worry about wrenches or having enough credits to be able to apply your upgrades. And then again, the number one tip is make sure that you're enrolling in those auto races every few hours, because you're getting a ton of rewards there if you do. And aside from that, just know that you're going to need a classic car in all 4 colors to dominate episode 3. Not only that, but you're going to need a fairly decent modern version of each color as well. Let me know, did you get the full 1000G for Forza Street? If so, when did you get it? Did you get it before they announced the server closure? Did you get it back when it was Miami Street? Or did you get it right at the buzzer like me? I'm curious to know your guys' experiences with the game. Other than that, as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, I'd like to give a huge thank you to all of my Patreon subscribers. We just hit 16 patrons. I'd like to give a special shout out to everybody in the biggest fan club, including TimG84, AOJ, Kegger101, Kana25, Michael Benksa, Curse Souls, and GamerTagNation.com. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to like and subscribe.